Hey friends, Dave Paulides, CanAm Missing Project, copyrighted edition for our video channel. I'm in here with Huck, the executive producer, and she's all happy that Daddy's back from the cruise. Okay, go ahead. You can go say goodbye. That's okay. That's okay. Go say goodbye. So we're back, and we are live at our ramshackled studios, as it may be called. And I want you to know that we appreciate you immensely, and that I hope you appreciated the videos we put up while we were gone. And yeah, we had a good time on the cruise, met some interesting people. Hopefully you got to see the interviews we did with Marty and Rob Alley. Yeah, Rob, a Bigfoot researcher, one of the smartest guys I've ever known. Super intellect. In fact, we took a bus ride with Rob and around downtown Victoria. And Rob is Canadian by citizen, and he has a permanent residency card in the U.S. And Rob told us all about Victoria, and it's quite an education, actually. I learned a lot, and he and I think a lot alike on many issues, and so being around Rob Alley is an education, to say the least. Now, this is a missing person segment. Now, when I was on the Alaska cruise, I gave a special presentation for an hour and a half on people missing in Alaska. And something I've never done before on Alaska disappearances. And I had probably 4 or 5 people come up at the end and say, Dave, that was one of the most interesting presentations I ever heard. And I'm surprised more people haven't clued into what you know is happening in Alaska. And there are a lot of weird things in Alaska that you haven't seen ever before on news broadcasts, series shows, cable TV. They haven't got a clue really what's going on. They give you a lot of fake garbage that really gets me mad, but no, they haven't clued on missing people at all. I got to say something about everybody on the cruise. One of the nicest group of people I have ever seen. Many of the people came up to us, talked to Angie and I regularly. They were very appreciative. There was one day where we took a cruise. Well, first of all, let me show you that this is the picture of everybody who was on the cruise. And that was right after my presentation. And that's Dr. Meldrum and I front and center. Rob Alley didn't make the picture, but quite a group, I gotta say. And then we went fishing. This is salmon I caught fishing one day. That's our Native American guide in Sitka. A great person, really enjoyed him, Tyler, and I'd go fishing with him any day. He knows his stuff. And the area was just unbelievably gorgeous that we were fishing in. It's a picture of us fishing in one of the rivers. We had waders on. The backdrop was seemingly gorgeous. Told us that there was a lot of bears and things around there. But yeah, Sitka is one of the prettiest cities I've been in Alaska for sure. We had the Juneau Town Hall meeting where people came in and told their stories. That was interesting. We had another day out in Skagway that we were supposed to go out fishing on the bay for halibut. It was so windy that they canceled it, which was a good thing. It would have been a horrible trip. But instead we took a train ride with Rob Alley And he was our guide on this train that we went up through the pass towards Whitehorse. And beautiful, beautiful. So anyhow, enough about the trip. Next year, as Marty stated in the video that's up, he's going to the Caribbean. I haven't been invited yet. I don't know if I'm going, but either way, it'll be a fun trip for whoever goes. So let's talk about missing people. This case really struck me hard, and hopefully they can get through it. Young man's name was Tyler Smyth. Tyler was 23 years old, went missing September 14th, 2018 from Galesburg, Illinois. And it's an area that's southwest from Chicago, quite a ways. He fits the profile to a T of what we talk about. He was a very, very good, wholesome young man. In 2013, while still in high school, he enlisted in the Illinois National Guard. 2014, he graduated from Rochelle High School in Illinois. And right after he graduated, he enrolled in Western Illinois University, and he majored in criminal justice with a minor in homeland security. It was stated that Tyler wanted to become a policeman and later go to DEA, Drug Enforcement Administration. And I read that and I thought, that's pretty phenomenal. That's what I wanted to do. And when I transferred from Fremont to San Jose Police, I applied for DEA like within the first year after that. I went through all the testing, was on the verge of getting hired, and they said, well, Dave, you got to go to the DEA Academy, and after that, you're probably going to be living on the East Coast. I said, really? Why? Well, the cost of living is best for you when you're a new DEA agent because you're not making that much money. Not making that much money? Yeah, to say the least. If I had accepted the position at DEA when I was at San Jose Police, I would have been making 1/3 of what I was making as a policeman. Sat down, had some hard conversations with my parents, with my friends. I said, I'm not going to do that. Even with overtime, I couldn't even come close to making what I was making at San Jose. So, you needed a bachelor's degree to go to DEA at the time, or prior police experience. I had both, so I was good to go. But I declined the offer and stayed at San Jose. Well, Tyler was still on that road to getting a police job. Well, when he graduated from with a bachelor's degree, he was an athlete. He enjoyed hiking, scuba diving, skydiving, anything in the outdoors. He also loved California. And after graduating from college, and he moved to California and applied for San Jose Police Department. I couldn't believe what I was reading. He was number 50, or in the top 50 of 5,000 applicants, and he was online to go to the police academy. This was in 2018. So he was living in California at the time, and he returned to Illinois in the summer of 2018 to meet his National Guard obligation. And he came out and lived with his family for a while, and then that was in Rochelle, and then he was going to Galesburg to hang with friends in his National Guard unit before he went back to San Jose. So on September 13th, or thereabouts, he left Rochelle to see his friends in Galesburg. On the 14th, he called his mom and said, hey, I'm in Galesburg. I'm at my friend's house. I'm good. I made it safely. Don't worry. Good son. Good sons do that. Moms always worry. Trust me, I know. Dads always worry. Trust me, I know. And at that time, he knew, and his parents knew, that he was going to go out with his buddies that night in Galesburg, do some drinking, etc. So he and his friends went out, and something happened. as in all my stories. Something happens and inexplicably he got separated from his friends. It was never made clear how this happened. This is a small town, folks. This is not very big. And when you look at the downtown area, it's not that big. Now this is Tyler. So he's out drinking with his friends. They get separated. And at 10:42 p.m., he withdrew money from an ATM. He withdrew $100. And he was seen walking away from the ATM normally, and he didn't appear incoherent at the time. So this is what you need to know. Here's Galesburg. Here's Chicago. Here's Davenport, Cedar Rapids, Peoria. Kind of get the gist where it is. So at 10:42, he withdraws the money. At 11:05, he tries to call a friend that he was supposedly out with. And for the next 40 minutes, he walks around the downtown area texting and calling his friends. Now, I looked at this area on a map. I have a tough time understanding how anyone could get lost there. It's not that big of a town with a very small downtown area, a block or two at most. At 11:46 p.m., Tyler sends a Snapchat message saying, "I don't know where I am." Friends, he's a smart young man. Graduated from college. Everybody can find where they are by what? Especially if they're in a town. You find out where you're at by looking at the street signs. Of course he knew that. So how could he be lost? How could he not know where he's at? This one really, really threw me. At 11:52 p.m., we have a monitor on most smartphones. It's a health monitor. And when you put your phone down for the night, it shows that movement for your phone stops. Well, at 11:52, his phone stopped moving. So let's get this straight. 6 minutes between he sends a Snapchat message and 11:52, all motion ceases. Think about that. The next day, in the morning hours, he doesn't show up for his National Guard drills with his team, with his unit. Not normal. Everybody said Tyler was ultra on time. He was a man of his word. He was reliable. His friends, worried about him, call his parents and ask if they've heard from him. His mom stated right then and there she knew something was wrong. Because Tyler was never like that. Because the friends stated that they hadn't seen him late last night because they got separated, and he never showed up at his buddy's house afterwards. They were worried. So the parents stated right when they got that call, boom, they left their home in Rochelle and started driving towards the city. His mom stated she knew just something bad had happened because this just wasn't Tyler. So right after that, Tyler was reported missing, and the search was on. They were looking all around, downtown Galesburg, for Tyler. At 7 p.m. that night, part of the search team finds him face down in a place called Cedar Fork Creek. And really what this is a cement canal that goes through part of downtown. And at the time, there were 2 inches of water in the creek. Well, right after that, the parents arrive in Galesburg, and they go straight to the police department looking for some assistance to tell them what's the progress made in finding their son. Where is he? How can we help? What's going on? Standard questions. Well, as they're waiting there for somebody to talk to them, a pizza delivery guy drives in, obviously delivering pizza to the police department. Hey, we like pizza too. And he engages the parents in conversation. And the pizza guy says, "Oh, are you here about the guy found in the creek?" That is how Tyler's mom found out. Can you imagine that? Can you freaking imagine that? I can't. That would just crumble me to my knees. The body was found, and it was set up for autopsy the next day. Autopsy was conducted, and they stated that he died of freshwater drowning, 2 inches of water. The cause of death and the manner of death, undetermined. Several weeks later, they released the blood alcohol level on Tyler, and it was 0.246. That's 3 times, more than 3 times the legal driving limit in almost every state in the U.S. For somebody 23 years old, which was Tyler, to have that level of blood alcohol, most 23-year-olds would not be able to stand. They would be staggering drunk. But remember, just prior, about an hour before his phone stopped working, he was walking just fine. That's weird. That's weird. I will say that. November 30th, 2018. The police department in Galesburg makes a Facebook page asking for information on if anyone had seen Tyler on the night of the incident. Parents kept pushing for several things to be told to them. They asked to see the body that night. They weren't allowed. They were suspicious. I could never find anything that indicated what clothes Tyler was wearing when he was found. January 30th, 2019, the police department states that death was not due to any foul play, but Tyler's parents came right out and said that they thought it was. July 12th, 2019, the police department confirmed that Tyler was last seen alive on video September 14th at 11:30 p.m. It was never made public where that video was at, and I haven't seen the video, but that would be an important one to see if that video showed him staggering. October 4th, 2019. The parents had requested that a retired homicide detective look at this case and make some determination about what he thought may have played out here. He stated that the police department did not follow established police practices. I have no idea what that means. That can mean a lot of different things. And the family formally requested that the Illinois State Police investigate the incident. I get it. I do get it. This is hard to accept, that your son disappears, is found dead in 2 inches of water, and has a blood alcohol level that high, and has injuries over other parts of his body, which I'll get to in a second. September 14th, 2020, 11 months after the request was made to the Illinois State Police, they agreed to review it. And actually, there was a second autopsy on this that I've never seen the results of. September 12th, 2021, the family posts a $100,000 reward for information leading as to what happened to their son. Nobody's ever come forward. Nothing's ever been said. A small town, remember that. Now let's get to the autopsy, because this is important. The autopsy stated that death was consistent with a fall. A fall. Let me have you look at something. This is a picture of the canal that he was found in. This is very near where Tyler was found. This is the roadway right here. This is a wall in the roadway. And then there's a fence that goes down both sides of the canal. Very steep sides down to a cement bottom. And there's a little bit of water down in the bottom right here. This fence would probably come up to higher than my waist. It would be hard to walk into that fence, fall over. I don't quite see how that could happen. So this is the place, the same canal where he died in. Canals are a place where many people have been found under these exact same circumstances. I'm sorry. If the water is deeper, the injuries I'm going to tell you about would not be prevalent. But because the water was so shallow, when you get dropped into the canal, you're going to have these injuries. If the water's in the canal, it'll buffer the injuries. So the coroner stated that the injuries he had injuries on both sides of his face and some on his back. There was never any mention as to what he was or was not wearing at the time he was found. And there was no mention of any toxicology report other than the blood alcohol level. Now, the canal has cement on all three sides, the bottom and both sides. Again, I don't believe he walked into that fence and went over. This would have been the only water in that entire area. Yet he found it. From my best guesstimate, Tyler was at least 2 blocks from the area that he had been with his friends. His statement, "I don't know where I am," troubles me the most. Almost this exact same thing has been stated other times by people who have disappeared under this exact scenario right up to the point he goes missing. Oftentimes people are on the phone. "I don't know where I am. I can't figure out where I'm at." Boom, phone goes dead, you're gone. It almost seems surreal, the wording by these people. Let's talk about missing 411, a sobering coincidence, and the profile that's used. White male, athletic, intelligent, in college or graduated from college, no drug history, out drinking alcohol, disappears, no witnesses, separated from his friends that were drinking, no explanation as to how he disappears from his friends, and is later found in a body of water. Tell me that's not Tyler. Exactly. Now, police and coroners screen for 24 different drugs. GHB, G as in George, H as in Henry, B as in boy is not one of them. But the secondary autopsy usually catches this. There was a secondary autopsy and nobody's talking about it. Now, is it possible that Tyler was attacked and killed? Of course, possible. A lot of things are possible, but what's probable? There are other disappearances in this general area that fit the profile. A loss of a great young man like this is inexplicable. And you live in a world that you see every night at the 6 o'clock news. But if you've never really been in my world, you've never heard of my books, and you've never heard of the profile, it would be a very difficult thing to accept that he fits the mode of what's happening in Missing 411, a sobering coincidence. Now, think hard about this, folks. At 10:42 at night, it's stated that he was walking fine, not staggering when he left the ATM. 10:42 p.m., he's fine. How did he get to a level of intoxication at 0.246 in an hour where most men couldn't function correctly? How did he get there so quickly? Now, at 10:42, he's at the ATM. At 11:52, an hour and 10 minutes, 70 minutes, his phone stops moving rather. 11:05, he tries to call a friend. Why didn't the call go through? Why didn't the friend pick up? This is also troubling. I'd like to know if on his friend's phone it shows a phone call came through. Now, I have a phone, I call somebody. It'll show I tried to make the call, whether it went through or not. Now, if it didn't go through, it won't show up on the phone I'm calling. But if it did go through and that person didn't pick up, it'll still show as a call. I'd like to know if that call went through. Not if it was picked up, just did that other phone acknowledge somebody calling? Now, it's also stated that at 11:05, he walks around town for 40 minutes texting and calling. Let's acknowledge something for us guys. Phones, smartphones, those little buttons, I make mistakes all the time, and when I'm sober texting somebody. If you were 0.246 blood alcohol level, that text would be all messed up. It takes special dexterity to text and manipulate and work a phone. How was that text? Would be my next question. If it went through clearly, if it was typed coherently, he was not intoxicated then. So dexterity is important. Now, this case, I'm telling you about it because it's so highly suspicious. I'm with the parents. I understand your suspicion. I would be too. Now, I haven't seen the second autopsy. I doubt it's much different than the one that we've already talked about. If somebody fell in to that canal, and maybe they hit the side of the canal as they were going in, and then they rolled into the bottom after being dropped, I could see having injuries on your back, injuries on both sides of your face, injuries to your face, no doubt. That makes complete sense. He may have other bruises from rolling and hitting. But there was never any mention of any injuries to his fist, meaning he got in a fight. Tyler was no small guy. He could take care of himself. But you're in Galesburg, Illinois. Not a lot of crime there. Not a lot of incidents of people getting rolled up and beaten for no reason. I can't claim I know what happened to Tyler. I have my suspicions, and I know you do too. But I do want you to know that these cases are on my radar. I feel very, very sorry for what his parents have gone through. They lost a great son. They lost somebody that was going to my alma mater, San Jose Police. Could have used a good man there. Thank you for watching. Remember, this is the kindness revolution. We need to be kind to one another more now than at any time in our history. Thank you for being here. Please make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're getting notifications. And if you like me, give me a thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up button. And share this on your social media. Every minute you play my videos, whether they're old ones or new ones, I get credit for that. So that's really important. And all 3 of my movies are available on Tubi, T-U-B-I. If you're online, look at Tubi. Just on the top right box, type in Missing 411. You'll find my videos. Please watch them. I get credit just like I get credit here. Please watch them. My website is NA, like North America, nabigfootsearch.com. That's where the online store is at. You can get my books there and the DVDs. Thank you. Paulides out.